Hello, we're back. We're back. I'm just showing you the outcome, because so obviously we made the films, they're all done, finished. So here is the trailer for Death, which is only a minute long, so don't worry, you won't fall asleep. And we just released the film in America. It came out in America on the 21st of January, so I was very excited about that. And as I said, it comes out in the UK on DVD on the 3rd of March. And the reason I'm excited is it's 100% independent. We had no help from anyone. BFI said no, BBC, blah, 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 blah. So it does prove that if you are stupid enough and you want to spend 2 years of your life, then you can actually make an independent feature film and get it distributed throughout the world. So here's the trailer. I hope you like it.
I'm Rupert Dedlock from Dedlock and Roberts. I've come to talk about Mr. Jones's estate.
So here we are then, back home.
What happened 7 years ago destroyed this family.
We loved you. You know, killed him when some died. Killed him even more when each one of you left.
Dad's gone. We're all busy. We need to clear the house, sell it and move on. Mom's bracelet. All the diamonds are gone.
So can you leave it right now? Are you coming or not? Yes or no? Everybody's happy there all the time. At least to the end of the universe.
We need to find out what the hell Dad did to Tom.
I see why people. They're everywhere. This connection feels a bit weak.
Surprise!
There you go. Thank you very much.
Right, our next speaker is just prepping his presentation. Okay, so I'm very pleased to welcome our final speaker this evening, Andrew Sage, who is another veteran of Leg Up and came to, was it 2 years ago you came to speak to us? He came to talk to us about his game Symbotica, but he's talking about something very different tonight. Over to you, Andrew.
Thank you. My name's Andrew Sage, and I'm a games designer, sort of hobbyist turned semi-professional, and I also do software development as well, so mixing the app world and the traditional games. But this was all about my Kickstarter project for a traditional game. But first time round, I did a game called Symbotica back in 2007, which in those days you didn't have crowdfunding, so I funded it myself. And it cost about £8,000, made in China. And we have lots and lots of boxes, which new versions, old versions, but they still exist. So that was one of the downsides of doing it for real ourselves, which led us to doing it for Kickstarter this time. So why did I go the Kickstarter route? It was mainly to get the exposure, because the problem, as I said before, we did the game, nobody knew about it, we were left with lots of games. And with a successfully funded project, as the reward pledges, people have got the games, so we'd have got half our stock disposed of and a big user base out there. And it wasn't going to cost me any money personally, which I never recouped any of the 8,000, well, maybe about £1,000 worth of sales from the first game. The project which we went for this time was a game called Sheepie Sleepy, which was a dice-based game for sort of families, kids, adults playing it. It was sort of a fun family game. And dice, specially designed with images on each side, which was a production problem, and a board to go with it. Prior to doing the campaign itself, we did a teaser campaign to build up a fan base, because we were coming from the angle of we're an unknown, nobody's heard of us, which is ticking one of the boxes of what not to try, according to James. So somebody I had working for me had this brilliant idea. She found these cute stuffed sheep in Hamleys at £20 ago. So because the game was going to be about sheep, we did a teaser campaign with these sheep popping up all over the place. And we set up a Facebook group with it, and we increased people joining the Facebook group. So we had quite a few people knowing about the game for when the time came to launch it. And we finished off the teaser campaign with the sheep. That one would have been Rosemary. We had Minty with the green bow, Rosemary, and Russell was the main guy. So we had, yes, the sheep doing the Kickstarter launch. And we also did a couple attempts at videos. Now, I'm not a professional video person, and I'm not a video star, but this is what we came up with. Hopefully this works.
Hi, I'm Andrew Sage, and I'm the creator of Sheepie Sleepy, the fun dice game where you collect sheep to count yourself to sleep. Myself and Minty, one of the flock, are here to ask you to help us to raise funds on Kickstarter so we can turn this fun game into reality. Everybody who's played it loves it. Who can disagree with sheep? Please help us. We look forward to your support. Thank you.
So we put that out. So we put that video out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Vimeo, and those places just to build up a fan base and get the attention going. Now, one of the things we had some problems with coming up with the campaign was the rewards, because our game came in a box with the dice with the boards, so there wasn't really sort of a massive upgrade available. The company would spec'd to do the production did say we could have had a tin box instead of a cardboard box, but these would have pushed up the prices sort of a factor of adding like 10,000 onto the price for a production run. So weren't really feasible pledge rewards to do that sort of stuff. So we ended up going with the PDF version of the game, just using normal dice for the £10. £20 was the standard first edition, including delivery in the UK. We had a different pledge level if you was outside the UK. For £100, you got your name on the box and the artwork. And then £250, we had framed artwork from the illustrator. And then the top level, we only went for 500, but we had the option of, I think, 5 of these. Was the printing plates from the printing process. They'd put them into a presentation box, frame, sort of glass presentation thing, because once they actually do the print run, they just melt them down. So we thought it was a nice, unique gift to go with. With the Kickstarter page, we built the page, and the video, as you say, as it was mentioned earlier, is a very important part. Even though it was quite interesting, I was at a UK Games Expo event, and there was a workshop talk about Kickstarter, and they said that sort of 80% of people watch videos and they don't read the rest of the Kickstarter page. And there was a show of hands in the room who actually watches the videos, and there was only about 10% of the room said they watched the videos. So it was interesting. But yeah, we put together a much more related video for the game of it being played.
I'm snoring!
I've got earplugs.
I've got coffee as well. Damn it.
Sheepie Sleepy!
I've got coffee. Right.
So I get 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And I've got 3. 1, 2, 3.
Hello, we're Andrew and Alison, and we're the founders of Seahorse Games. And this is our new game, Sheepie Sleepy. It's a fun dice game where you have to get sheep to count yourself to sleep.
So yeah, we did this video to try and get across the fun angle of the game from just being based on paper. Now it's a family game. for kids and everything, but we don't have children. We didn't have access to any children, so we couldn't get kids playing the game to make it look fun. So we just went with it ourselves and showed the game being played and various information about the game. Before we did the video, we'd actually watched several Kickstarter videos ourselves, decide which sort of things we liked. Things which appealed to us would hopefully appeal to other people. And it was the more informal sort of people playing the game, having fun, instead of the swish, slick production numbers with all slides and everything like that. We did get some feedback from some people during the campaign that they didn't think the video was right, but then others liked it. So it's the usual thing. Yes, back to our sheep. Throughout the campaign, we use social media to keep awareness, to try and get more and more people to come on board. And you see on the left, we've got the sheep there with our first pledge. And another picture of, we had used lots of sheep puns, we had used thanking all over the place and different things. It was just to try and keep that fun angle. But we couldn't actually, one of the rules with Kickstarter is you can't give away items not related to your product. Because we could have used these sheep as pledges, as pledge rewards. But then it would have been against their rules, sort of thing, of using somebody else's product when it wasn't solely related. But yes, the social media we set up, Sheepie Sleep had its own account, the company had its own account, and Facebook groups, and it was just to keep pushing and pushing. And throughout the campaign, we did actually increase our number of followers, which was some sign of success. The highlights to us of the campaign was, within the first 10 minutes of the campaign going live, we got a real pledge. Not from somebody we knew or primed, it was just a complete stranger. Which was even more strange that we put it live at midnight on the day it went live, or night it went live, and within 10 minutes this person pledged. So somebody must have been sitting there looking for interesting things. They weren't even local. It wasn't come up in the Aberdeen new Kickstarter campaigns. It was somebody in Norfolk, I think it was. So no idea why. They just caught us at the right time. So that sort of dispels one of the things from earlier. Unfortunately, nothing else went so well. We got the local press had found us as well on the first day and got in touch. I had a long conversation with them. They were all excited about a local person doing something. And I said, we're trying to set up a games company, be creative in Aberdeen. Aberdeen's not just oil and gas. Oh yes, they'll be very interested in this. We'll run a story of it. We'll be in touch. We'll be in touch. I never heard anything again from her until, well, the campaign ran in August, September, and she phoned me up at the start of December to asking how it was going. So that didn't really go too well. But we passed the £1,000 mark quite early on. We were looking for £12,000, which in hindsight was maybe a bit much, but because we were looking at getting UK production and predicting runs and everything, we couldn't really go below without risking ourselves. And the big result, unfortunately, was we had lamb barbecue. The game flopped. We didn't flop completely. So we got over 10%, which I think was quite reasonable for an unknown. 44 backers. I'd say we got real backers of people we didn't know. So it wasn't just the usual sort of friends and family pledging £100 here and there, but it was actually real stuff. So we were getting traction. But let's say the pitfalls we had from this campaign was that we'd set the goal too high. We should have just really forgotten about being made in Britain and gone and get cheap production in Europe for a fraction of the cost, and maybe done a campaign worth about 5,000, which would have been much more achievable. People were more likely to pledge thinking they were going to get it. And I think we did run at the wrong time of the year, because we were meant to be going sort of June, July, but then we had delays for getting quotes from the manufacturers. So we got pushed back, and we got delays with the artwork for the game. So it was pushed back a bit further, and then people on holidays, whatever. So we managed to get, I think, the end of the English school holidays, and definitely the Scottish school holidays were still on. So everybody was away, and it was the wrong time of year. Where we'd hoped to go for that time of year, in that Christmas has come in, people pledge and get an idea and get a game for Christmas. But it didn't work. We had a lot of interest from various blogging sites for games who took a liking to the game, but they all wanted copies so they could review it, play it, and then say good things about it. But unfortunately, we didn't have prototypes because we needed Kickstarter to get even laser-etched dice were going to be, I think, to get laser-etched dice was going to cost about £90 a set, which was, yeah, out of the budget. And so we did handmade ones with sticking on the labels, but we didn't think they were suitable to send to reviewers. And yeah, so sending them to reviewers, they'd all fall apart and different things. At least when we had our ones in our own hands, it was okay. One thing which was very disappointing was that I'm involved in various networking groups and different things, and some of them just had a complete lack of support for us. You would thought that the only asked them to retweet a link or share a Facebook like or something like that, and I had access to people who I know from completely different other fields have raised 150,000, and only one person out of the whole group took the time to do a retweet for us. So the games community were really great and a big help, but you have to go beyond the games community unless you're a big name to get that foothold. And again, say the local press, lack of their support when they showed such interest to begin with, and then yeah, nothing. So which was a bit unfortunate. But so at the end of it, the game still works, the idea works, there's lots of interest in it, still people want to buy it. So we are going to do the Kickstarter campaign again, outsource the production to Europe to bring down the costs, maybe then do stretch goals to boxed versions and just do sort of dice in a bag sort of things, and a more sort of a back to the sort of the craft game market, because I think that's where we wanted to start, and then people kept talking us up and saying, well, if you're going to Kickstarter, why ask for 5,000? You might as well ask for 20. But in hindsight, it didn't work. But at least we tried it, and it didn't cost us a lot of money. So it takes a lot of time to do. And you do really need somebody at it full-time every day, sending out emails, sending out tweets, Facebook, and all that sort of stuff. But it's definitely an experience and worth doing it. And that was my misadventure and I think that was the last slide. Yes, my misadventures in Kickstarter. Any questions? Or last-minute backers who want to resurrect the project?
So you're going to do your Kickstarter again, and you've told us a little bit about how you're going to do it differently next time, but I'd like to know when you're going to run it and how you're going to handle the communications this time with your network problem.
Well, the network problem, I'm not going to rely on that network existing. I gambled on the facts that I had this big network, which I thought may have helped, but it didn't. So if all that network had sent it and everybody like pledged £1 each, would have made the thing no problem. But as for the time of year we're looking to do, is most probably sort of April, May time, I think. Because then it's clear of Christmas, people have money again, it's not quite the summer holidays. And also we have another added incentive to try and get this game out sooner rather than late the next couple of years, is that there's a Shaun the Sheep feature film coming out. So everybody will be crazy about sheep. So we want to be there to cash in. I don't know for the licensing deal. I don't know what Aardman charge for their licensing deal. So whether that's what I thought, yes. So yeah, licensing Shaun the Sheep to do the game isn't quite within the budget. But hey, who knows? They may be watching and they come to me. Any more questions?
What would you say was your most powerful social media tool? Would you say it was Facebook or Twitter? Or could you repeat the
Yeah. You're asking what was the most powerful social media tool in our campaign? Building the awareness and the fan base, Facebook was the best one to begin with. So the campaign we did, we had these pictures of these sheep. They were in Aberdeen, London, Miami at one stage, and Greece, and all over the place. So we went from a Facebook group, or whatever it is, you call them a Facebook, which had about 10 people. And then by the time the campaign kicked off, we got it to about 200 or so, which was quite good, from nothing to something. And again, quite a lot of people were giving us feedback within the group, and there was communication, and there was a sort of a sense of community and conversation, but not enough spin-off to take us beyond the 44 backers. Yes?
Since you've done this campaign involving globe-trotting sheep, why didn't you then do a game about globe-trotting sheep? Why did you do a game about sheep going to sheep?
Right, so that question was why after doing the teaser campaign for globe-trotting sheep, that's why, because it's too complicated to say, did we not change the game to do that? Well, we'd already had this great game idea for the Sheepie Sleep. So, yes. You do see that there is also the drinking game market, optional, extra for this game. But yeah, no, we did have some spin-off ideas based on some of the experiences with the Kickstarter. And I think, as you mentioned, doing a Kickstarter campaign on how to do a Kickstarter campaign sort of thing, it can be turned into a game itself. But whether or not we'd get enough funding to do that, who knows? Anything else?
Okay.
Thank you.
Right, well, that looks like that's it for tonight, folks. Whoa, that's so bright. So I'd just like to thank our three speakers again. So James Wallace, Martin Gooch, and Andrew Sage. And thanks very much for being so honest, Andrew. And I think a lot of your advice would be really useful to a lot of people, so I really appreciate you sharing that story with us. Thanks again to Leon and Learn for Life TV, and to Yuki for letting us have this space, and to people at home watching, and for all you guys who turned up today. Right, we're going to the pub now. It's the Perseverance. It's just a little bit down Lamb's Conduit Street on the left, and hope to see you there.